Welcome to Diplomatic Passport here on Zim Papers Television Network, your daily COVID update show that comes every weekday. My name is Robert Mkondiwa, as always, and thank you so much for joining me as we approach the end of yet another week on what I call Season 3 of lockdown, albeit with a bit of changes, of course. Slight changes really, because we were saying we're going to be tracking the progress throughout the week, and we're going to be getting, of course, your feedback as we go on the show. As I always say, this is an interactive show, this is your show, so at least please keep telling us what you want us to chase, and keep asking the questions of the authorities that you want to hear, because we will always follow up on what it is that you want to know. Now, yesterday we went very much in depth with regards, of course, the issue of masks, face masks to be precise, because as you know, it is now mandatory to wear a face mask whenever you're in a public space. And yesterday we had the story of Ricky in Bulawayo from Killarney, who of course was taken by the authorities for non-compliance, and we were talking on and on about what is not non-compliance, what we can do to ensure that the authorities do not make this a punishment, but rather try and win the hearts and minds of the general populace. And of course, you've been giving us a lot of feedback with regards to that issue. But face masks all of a sudden have become something important to the general population, and we're not short of entrepreneurs who are now making face masks. And we've got one story of one such person, and just take a look at this entrepreneur and how they cheekily decided this was going to be their way out of poverty at a time of lockdown.
It was a bit hard to take in, but then we understood the impact of us being on the streets and being actively open, because it was for our own good at the end of the day. So we then, over time, tried to figure out how best can we, maximize on this situation. We then went on a social media marketing campaign. That was like super intense. So we did a lot of live videos with a lot of people. I had a live video with influential individuals. DJ Reverb 7 was part of it at some point. We started an initiative that had a purpose. We started a campaign that we are releasing a collection on t-shirts to do with depression, mental wellness and depression. Because you know how it's been for a lot of people, being isolated, like for the past 21 days, has been hectic. You're stuck with your mind, and 3/4 of the time you end up thinking the wrong things. And people needed that positive dialogue, and get people to have the conversation on depression and everything. Yeah, on the other 14 days, I think what we did was we sort of stepped up our game in terms of making people believe that we're back, because we didn't want the impression that we're not working completely. So we then took the initiative to start designing masks, like for, facial masks, but in a fashionable way. They're safe and everything, because we checked out all the requirements for them to be, proper for someone to use, and when things are open and everything. So we started doing the masks designs and did a couple of tailoring during the lockdown using the home machines. It was a bit difficult because we used to, the industrial setup where we're back at the office and everything, but we did what we could with what we had. And we managed to actually deliver for a client at some point. We delivered a huge order. I think we had an order of 100 shirts that needed to be done for a client, and we managed to deliver. The designs of the masks that we did are the rewashable ones that you can wear and then, wash and then use again. And with that in mind, we started, marketing the idea to other companies, and some companies bought into the idea. That we even have a branded version of the masks where you get your company name on the masks and everything. So I think in a way it created a huge opportunity for us, since it's now mandatory. And then also considering how, people, in as much as we might try to be as basic as possible, we're not. A lot of people ended up, biting onto the idea of the fashionable version of the face mask. Because we started designing new items. We have denim versions of face masks. We have the customized versions of the face masks, and a lot of people seem to love those ones, because I feel like as we move forward, people will want to wear a mask which also matches with their whole outfit and everything. because at the end of the day, people still want to look nice, be it COVID or not. So yeah, man, I feel like it's a good measure that they took, both for the safety of the people and also for us on the business side of things. It was a good thing.
Well, there you have it. Of course, when we think that we've got a problem that's presented itself to us, i.e. having to wear those face masks, and we're really in trouble because some people were actually saying they cannot breathe under those things. Well, somebody else, Clive Msindo, sees that a bit of opportunity, if not a lot of opportunity. And of course, there's always disruption. His surname suggests that, Msindo, noise, disruption. And they did really latch on to this whole idea of young people creating face masks and actually seeing opportunity. Now, I did say this week, and we've had this whole week dedicated to youth issues and younger people. How are they faring with regards to lockdown? Well, and how are their enterprises, their personal enterprises, being affected by COVID-19 and especially the lockdown? Today I've got 3 young men, I would like to think, who are joining me in the studio, and we're just going to be going through your daily routines. We're going to be going through your struggles, because you've got struggles right now. You are all people whose jobs are dependent on interactions, on being hired, on being there for the photo shoot, being there for the show. And all of a sudden, we're not doing photo shoots and shows, we're staying at home. So starting from you, I want you to introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay, thank you, Rob, for having me. My name is Jay Tambadi. My full name is Jeff Tambadi. I am a fashion model and also I'm a fitness trainer.
Brilliant. Well, at least you can train people online as they're at home. I don't know whether you're guaranteed that we'll be following the routines, but well, at least, you know, we're going to be talking about those things where how you're transforming from the physicality to online. Next, the gentleman.
Yeah, my name is Nyasha Reginald Mano, and my stage name is Ras Pompe, and I'm an artist.
Ras Pompe. We've had you a lot on Diplomatic Passport, and a lot of times people keep saying the same things. Ras Pompe Akura. I don't know. You're gonna have to be addressing that, especially the ladies. Ras Pompe Akuita. We don't really know what, but yeah, always a topic. And then finally,
the name is Tawanda Mapanda. I'm a stage name Maps. I'm a saxophonist, performing artist, marimba player.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with you, Tawanda. Shows, and this is the thing. A lot of people in your trade have been dependent, especially instrumentalists. You are multi-talented. They're mostly dependent on being there, on getting that contract. How many things did you get cancelled because of COVID-19? And are you feeling any real difference financially between how you're faring outside of lockdown and what's happening at the moment?
Yeah, so with me, like many shows, like festivals, weddings, corporate events, they all have been cancelled because of COVID. So I'm like, I'm back to zero. So I'm trying to look for ways and means of getting that income. So trying to do things online, yeah, stuff like that.
And this is interesting because you do a lot of weddings.
Uh-huh.
And people have been asking this question, and I know there's a wedding planner who also was getting a lot of these questions. And I'm going to come with the same question to you, Ras Pompe. What do you do with the money? Because you guys had been paid these little advances and deposits.
Yeah.
What happens to the deposit?
So with me, like, I make sure that I ask for the deposit 3 or 4 days before I go on stage, so that I don't have any problems with anyone saying,
So you didn't even have deposit to chow? Well,
nothing.
you're in a difficult... Nyasha, I know you had shows. Are you Ras Pompe at the moment?
Yeah.
How do we know? Because the ladies will be asking, oh yeah, but actually they say Ras Pompe Akura. Okay, Ras Pompe, what happened to the money?
I used it.
And you're not going to have problems?
I don't think so, because the shows aren't cancelled. They just postponed it.
Okay.
Yeah, so after this pandemic, We're going to continue with the shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And at the moment, what are you doing now? I see a lot of people are going online. What do you have any plans around that? What's going on in your side of the world?
Musically or
Musically.
all right. So right now I'm just writing music, and sometimes I think a day out of a week I go to the studio and
So you're actually
create something.
recording.
Yeah. If I get, I'm getting the opportunities.
Okay.
So I have to use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay, people want these. I've actually seen you in action. So you're there on red carpets. At least this happened after, of course, key little events that we look up to, especially the start of the year had happened. Like awards shows and whatever. But how has this impacted on you as a person? And what are you doing to cover up for whatever losses that you may actually be going through?
I had a lot of plans actually. Mostly as models, we depend on our bodies. That means we have to be fit. So gyms are now closed. We don't go to the gym these days. And most models, including me, we use the funds that we get from modeling for paying rents and things like that, and our daily expenses. So most of my fellow models are now stuck. So this is actually beneficial to those guys who do a little bit of some online things. Let's say online fitness training and maybe some online advertising. Let's take, for example, these face masks. They need people to advertise those, so maybe they can just send the mask to you, and then you wear it, and then you post the pictures. You can get paid through that. So this is how most people are getting paid, and yeah, I can just say it has really killed us, because most companies have closed their advertising industry. Like the advertising budgets have been cut, and run shows have been cancelled, and our old school photo shoots, those ones are now dangerous because we have social distancing. Yes.
Now, tell me personally, how has your day changed? What do you do now? What did you used to do, and what is your day now, starting from the morning?
Okay, starting from the morning, I used to wake up, go to the gym. In the afternoon, I would train some people, and then go to the gym again. And then if I have other contracts that I have to be doing, I would do those contracts. So these days, it's hard to get motivation when doing home workouts. But as a model, you have to push yourself, because soon after this, we have some contracts that are waiting. Some were cancelled, yes, but some were postponed.
Okay.
So it really has impacted me, because right now, my whole routine, my whole daily routine has changed.
You know what I like about these gym guys is how when the gyms were open, it was like they're doing something from heaven, and they would look at us and we were like these second-class citizens. And now all of a sudden we are not going to the gym, and we are teaching you to live life our way. We'll see. But back to you. We've seen you do a number of routines. What are you doing? Where are you doing these? And what has changed with regards your day to day?
So with me, like I used to do rehearsals throughout the day, or go and teach kids or teach people how to play the saxophone. But now it's now 24/7. I'm on the saxophone. I wake up, I go practice, I learn something new. I do covers so that I post online so that people see, and maybe soon after lockdown, I can get my weddings back, my corporate events. Yeah.
But don't you think, because now
Yeah.
a lot of people are online, and a lot of numbers are coming online, and when you start marketing yourself, a lot of people who would be busy with their everyday lives, who never used to have time for social media, are actually stumbling upon you and will get to know you. And perhaps, wouldn't you think this is the advertising phase where now everybody is looking at you, and maybe this could be a blessing in disguise. Last night we had, and this was a new line of things, we also even had the Garamba show, which I know all of you watched. If you didn't, just take whatever lead. But of course you did. Abando.
Yeah, I didn't use it. I'm joking.
But seriously, people are moving online, and they're seeing you there, and this could actually be a blessing in disguise, and you guys might actually be having more people see you now than then.
That's true.
Now, Raspomti, people especially in your genre have been doing a lot of these live shows, live streaming and what have you. And there's been a discussion today when people were saying, oh, these live streams are just people from Harare and whatever. And while people are saying we are not seeing live shows anymore as in the conventional way, don't you think you can actually take that, especially to your hood, Kumbare, Wongoti, Boys, Waiti, Ungane, it's probably just like a 2 gig to live stream an hour or so. Could Mongo Ungane's society and say, not only these names that we know on the large stage, but also Ngounza boys from the hood and say, guys, let's do this to bring in the new names, because there's always a lot of new talent, but also the old names who may have decided, I'm no longer doing shows, but wouldn't mind to be on that low-key hood sort of thing, because that's really how Zim Dancehall started.
Yeah, I think it is a good idea, but my challenge is the person anenga chicha live yacho. Maybe us from the ghetto, we don't have money, like we don't have my Wi-Fi and stuff. I think the challenge will be about bundles and stuff. Yeah, but Takakwansa wana put someone and Kwansa kuti helper on that, giving us my Wi-Fi and stuff. I think we can do it.
It's probably a time now, these corporates who actually work within those sort bits of work should actually be coming to the youth. So are we saying companies are not investing enough in the youth, especially in IT at a time like this when you actually want to be seen and heard?
Yes.
Yeah. With me, that's very true. Like, we need that, like, what can I say? That push, to be able to do things online and push. But now we don't have such capacity, like for some people, like no Wi-Fi.
In fact, internet has just gone up.
Yeah,
so
that's another thing.
That's the irony. Yeah. But then again, what other things can you do? For example, you were giving tutorials. You were on, you were dealing with kids, right? And have you started thinking probably outside the box, if ever there's a box, and saying, you know what? Why don't we go the e-learning route, and I can teach these kids via e-learning? Or is this such a sophisticated art and trade? Joti, you're thinking, you know what, I much as I may want to do this, I cannot. Because some tutorials, of course, are only good for the people who are much, much older.
Exactly, that's true. So with me, like, I started doing e-learning, but now the problem is the students don't have the instruments. They don't have access to the instruments. So I'll be saying, no, you play like this, but they won't understand it that much. Yeah.
Okay. So just to wind up, I just want to ask about what you think happened. Government just decided this is happening, and then you were told that the lockdown is coming in 3 days. But did you think it was enough time, and do you think there's more that government can or should do? Because we've heard mainstream businesses are getting help. Money's been set aside for small and medium business enterprises, but there's no model or dancehall artist or saxophonist who's going to get that money. In all fairness, what do you think? What would you say? What would your message be to government with regards to arts? But of course, they did talk about the arts and something being done there. What would you want to see happen? Ministry, for example, that deals with arts. So that they actually help you guys and cushion you guys?
I think the lockdown was a good thing because it helped us. But I actually think they can help us. Right now we have youngsters who need to pay rent. We have youngsters who need to go to, they have those lectures that they didn't attend. And they can't afford e-learning. Most of them can't afford e-learning. So I think if they can help those students with maybe, as these guys were talking about, free Wi-Fi or other platforms that they can use to learn, and also so that they can enrich themselves during this lockdown. Not to such an extent that after this lockdown, you'll be on the same position that you were before lockdown.
Or even worse off,
Yes,
actually.
yes.
That's from people they Ministry of Arts. What are you going to talk?
They should just, I think they should just give me money.
Gives you money.
Yeah.
Those bailouts, that money has to have a plan. What plan would you guys be coming up with? Remember, we were talking about Kuti, online. What are you going to do to recapacitate? Because that's the important thing. Kuti, if we get money, what are we going to do with this money?
All right. So mostly us as artists, we pay for studio sessions, and there's no free recording. So we might use that money to record the songs, and to some other artists, not me, they want to pay rentals and stuff and buy food, you know. Yeah, I
So
think
basically, in a way, a bailout, because you're saying your lives were not rosy anyway in the first instance, because the arts have always been forgotten, but over and above that, things have actually just gotten worse. So a bailout is actually something that makes sense. Okay. And then I'm coming back to you. I'm very worried about you. I thought I thought for a moment that you would be the happier guy, because the saxophone, it really drains you. I mean, like literally. You know, after you play that thing, it's absolutely full of saliva. And I was thinking, since, you know, but now you're telling me you're even more dehydrated because you're playing this thing more and more and more.
yeah.
We actually had Sebastian Magacha earlier on today on a sister program called Heartbeat, and I actually was just thinking of you, Bosho, and he also played Bosho. He actually sang the song. And I'm not going to ask you to try and play it.
Yeah.
It's a very sophisticated one. But no, tell me about this a whole new regime, because we were seeing a lot of your stuff in action. Tell us about the sophistication of this trade and why you really need to keep playing.
So it would be like, I just need to keep playing so that, like, even when I'm home, like at lockdown, I just need to keep practicing, hoping that one day I'll get there. I still have to learn, like, there are plenty of things to learn, so I need to keep pushing, and I know this lockdown is actually helping me, like, improve, to be better.
Well, I'm going to come back to you soon, because you're going to play us out, and we want to hear how you play. Raspompi, we've heard him play, we've heard him sing, we've actually played a lot of his stuff, so I'm going to rest you today. But before we do that, I want to just show the people out there what Jay does, because Jay has got in his modeling, and you could say, okay, we want to see those pictures of Jay at work, Jay modeling. I'm sure we've got some of those images just to show you of. Oh, there he is. He looks pretty decent, doesn't he? You know, you think. No, but when you see you like that, and you're saying, do you want a bailout? I'm like, dude, what the hell do you want a bailout for? We need a bailout from you. Look at him. Look at him. God, goodness me. Anyway, that's brilliant, absolutely fabulous. But I'll just have to leave it there. Raspompi, thank you for coming. We're going to be having a little performance from you next week that you promised the viewers last time, the live. And then Jay, we saw you in action sitting on your BMW. And then I think the best way to go is to have Tawanda Maps. Please play us out, and let's see what it is you do every day, all day.